Cheers. Welcome to Almost Rich, Almost Famous with Bets and Bridge. You guys, we are alive and well. We took a little break, but not really, because we've been really busy. We've been traveling. We've been doing cool events. We've done cool interviews. Mm-hmm. If you've been missing out on it, well, that's your own fault. You need to be following us on social media. Almost Rich _ Almost Famous on Instagram. ARAF _ TLOD on Twitter. And you can subscribe to our YouTube page. Almost Rich, Almost Famous. One thing that hasn't changed, though, is my love life.
I was going to say, you left out a big part of this. You've left out the activity that you have been handling over the last couple weeks. You've been going on dates. Don't try to act.
Don't try to act. I mean, I wouldn't be saying I'm going on dates.
Okay, she went on one. She went on one date. Okay, so this is the first date that you've been on for how long has it been?
Okay, but what are you trying to do over here?
Listen, we go on dates all the time. I'm saying with a guy, somebody other than me. Not to say that dudes aren't like hitting you up all the time, but this is the first one that you have accepted. I'm happy that you're happy about how I preface that. You wanted everyone to know. Like, people have still been asking.
Well, no, I didn't need everyone to know, but I will say, it is a big deal for me to actually accept a date. And people are always like, "Oh, how are you single?" I'm like, well, maybe it's because I don't give anyone a chance.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to get better, because you know me, I literally am the pickiest person, and I'll say like, "Oh no, they like said hi the weird way, so I'm not going to go out with them," or they use the wrong form of "their" in their text, which actually is a real good reason.
Red flag.
You don't have good grammar. Out.
Major.
So I'm very, very picky. So I'm trying to relax my pickiness. Mm-hmm. They don't have to check every single box. As long as they check a couple of them, maybe I should give them a chance. So Betsy and I are out the other night, and I see a guy. First of all, it's very rare of me to say, "Wow, that man is very attractive."
And we both said it on two separate occasions. Like, dude walks in and I'm thinking, "Oh, he's tall." And this is how I think in my mind. He's good for Bridget. He's tall. Well, so that's like the main box.
That's
the
number
needs to be checked.
one box.
Yes.
So he has that. We're seeing him from afar. And by the way, this is after 17,000 tequila shots. So I'm like, do I have like tequila goggles on right now? Or is he actually cute? And Betsy's like, no, he's actually really, really attractive. I'm like, well, what do I do? She's like, well, why don't you go up to him? I'm like, well, God, hell no. Are you kidding me? I'm never going to do that. Well, then like two other men come in and sit with them. It looked like somewhat of a business meeting. I'm like, well, I'm definitely not going over there now. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah. See, I remember those 17 tequila goggle situation that you just discussed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that you're misinterpreting how this whole thing went, because I was probably only like 3 tequilas in.
Yeah.
And so I saw this from a totally different lens. And this lens I would like to share with our followers, our listeners, because I think it makes more sense how I tell the story based on your very skewed opinion of how this actually
Give it to me, because it'll be like I'm living it for the first time, because I was a little browned out at this point.
We actually have not discussed how this happened, so I'm happy that we're able to do it right here on the pod.
Am I going to be embarrassed?
Probably.
Okay, that's what she likes to do.
So, because like a lot of what you just said was untrue. So, okay. So Bridget and I are sitting at the bar. This is post Browns game. So like at this point, like we're entertaining partners, we're out and about. Like this is finally the opportunity for Bridget and I to have some time to ourselves. So we go to a bar, we're sitting there. It's lovely. Bridget's still enjoying tequila. I'm like drinking water at this point, because I know like things are not going well for me. Dude walks in. Dude is probably 6'5". You remember that.
Yep. That is the one thing I remember very clearly is the tallness.
So tall dude, built, like has muscles. You can kind of see him through his like winter coat, very nice physique, I'd say. Cute face, not like the most stunning face I've ever seen, but maybe sometimes like 2 out of 3 isn't bad, right? Fine.
And I can't even remember what his face looks like. So
yeah, I know. Okay. So anyway, he walks in, he goes and sits at a table, and I say to Bridget, I'm like, God, that guy's so cute for you. Let me take a look. She takes a look. She's like, oh yeah, he's cute. So we're sitting there. I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, maybe you should do something. And you're like, yeah, maybe I'll go over there. And I was like, well, I think that'd be great. But right now, like, I don't even know if you'll make it all the way over from the bar to his table based on like how you were hobbling to the bathroom. Damn. So, yeah. So, like, don't do that. Okay, great. So what else could I do? I don't know. This is me saying, I don't know. Maybe it's cute for you to write a little note.
Cute for you to write a little note. Going back to grade school, just do that little slipperoo of a note. And what was my reaction?
Your reaction was, that is a fantastic idea.
Betsy, you could have told me anything.
I know.
You could have been like,
that's why
I suggest you go flash him. And I've been like, perfect. Why didn't I think of that?
I really think that's true. And that's why I did this. Because this is not something you're typically up for. So I was taking advantage of the whole thing, being like, yes, write him a note. At this point, you couldn't even write.
Like, and I just want to like preface this. I pride myself on having a very high tolerance when it comes to alcohol. Like, I can outdrink many dudes. I don't know what happened that Sunday. Maybe I didn't eat enough. But I remember leaving that game thinking, like, I'm drunk.
So I will second that. You are definitely never like this. So that's why I'm taking full advantage of you in this situation, because usually you'd be like, oh my God, you're so annoying. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but in this moment, you weren't doing that. So
I was into it.
Yeah, write a note. And you were like, yeah, let's write a note. And so I wrote a note. I have shit handwriting, but it's fine. We give it to the bartender and you stop the whole situation and you say, well, maybe I should deliver it.
Oh, God. I mean, I should maybe drink tequila more often if I'm looking to talk to a dude, because clearly I have a lot of confidence.
You were bold. You're like,
Bold.
I should drop it off. And I was like, okay, so you're going to drop it off and then what?
Yeah, that would have been weird.
And you were like, well, I'll just drop it off and walk away.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, no.
Again, this is why I don't go on a lot of dates and why I'm single. I clearly don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
So the note says, hi, I didn't want to interrupt your dinner. I think you're cute. Give me a call sometime.
I mean, not like terrible, but
Very direct, very to the point. I thought very adult.
so then I go home. We leave. So we give the note to the bartender. I do remember that part. And she was like, man, I've been looking at him too. He's real cute. So I'm like, is she actually going to deliver this? Because she seems pretty into him too. At this point, I just know I need to go to bed. So I wake up the next morning and I have a text from Betsy that says, so anything? And I'm like, what is she talking about? And I didn't want to like admit that I was basically blacked out. So I just ignored it. So then Betsy today, as we're talking about the podcast, she's like, oh, we should definitely tell this story about dropping off the note. I'm like, you know, Bets, I'm not going to lie. I don't really remember any of that situation. So I actually did deliver a note. And you're like, well, no, but we'll tell the story for the podcast. Yeah. I'm glad I know. But clearly I struck out because I did not get a text from the guy.
Or the hater bartender never passed it along. I feel like that's definitely an option. And I'm sure probably what really happened.
We'll just go with that.
Okay, let's go with that.
But clearly, how would he not be into a tall girl that is stumbling to the bathroom that can wear
so
all of her Browns
gear?
gear?
That is actually really sexy. I think you had that dog bone necklace on too. I think you probably really liked that and said, I have to call her
Such a catch.
Immediately.
But that was the opening of me being a little bit more bold and open to going on dates.
Yeah. I mean, it's also the start of you really just creating this checklist for dudes that you want to date. So we thought it'd be fun today to go through a list of Bridget's checklists of items that make for the perfect dude.
So if you're out there listening, if you check some of these, my DMs are open.
Well, what if they only check one?
Well, it depends on which one. So let's get to it.
Tall. Tall's the main.
Tall. That is the one non-negotiable. And I'm sorry for any male out there that is below 6 foot. I'm a very tall lady. It's my one non-negotiable. I don't care if you're the funniest, best looking, most successful guy in the world. If you're 5'8", it's not going to work.
It's just not going to work. I think that's fine. Okay, you can have that one thing. Yeah. What are some of the other items that are necessary in the looks department?
I mean, the number one necessary one is tall. I prefer men to be built, have some muscle, like arms, chest, abs.
Yeah.
That's like asking a little too much sometimes.
Yeah.
But hey, if you got all that, whoa.
Okay,
we're in for it.
So tall, muscles.
Yes. And also smile. So I do think that I have a great smile. People tell me they're my nice teeth, they're white. Yeah. So I can't be dating a dude with like crooked yellow teeth.
Well, if you had to choose crooked or yellow, which you have to pick one or you die.
Actually, I would pick yellow because then I can help them with the whitening. I'll just pick, well, hey, listen, here's like
you could also help them with fucking braces.
Yeah, that's a lot more expensive than just going to the store and getting some little whitening strips.
But if they're that yellow, it might need some heavy duty shit.
You think?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, like that, like, you know, the thing that people use on Instagram, that like very serious, like light
thing.
Yeah, I think those are expensive. I don't know.
I still feel like that's a better route. If their teeth are crooked and then like shit gets stuck in them, oh, gross. So those are like the three mains. Those are the first things at least I noticed. First thing I notice is height. And then if they're built, I'm like, whoa. Like you said, that guy, like not the cutest face, but he certainly caught my eye because he was tall and built. And then when they open their mouth and if I see their teeth and they're crooked, then I'm like, ugh. So those are like the 3 pecking order.
Okay, so let's talk about this phenomenon that's happening currently in the world that we've really never touched on, but I think is very important and I think really pertains to this conversation. And it has to do with celebrities dating small, skinny, ugly white dudes.
Wait, what?
What's happening? Why is Kim Kardashian dating Pete Davidson? Why is Kourtney Kardashian dating that Travis Barker? Why is, well, I guess MGK is tall and he's not like the ugliest person I've ever seen. But like, what is going on in the world? And like, maybe the success kind of makes up for, I don't know, like being like skinny.
But these women that are dating these dudes are probably more successful than those guys. So I don't think they're looking to be like, they have to be super successful. They can clearly take care of themselves in that matter. However, theyese dudes are they're so pale too. Like tall, real lanky and skinny and pale. It's basically what I look like in middle school.
Okay.
Like just very awkward, skinny.
I'd really like to show at some point the people who are listening a photo of what you looked like back then. You were very, very, very skinny.
Literally. Okay, so sorry to get off track for a moment, but that's just what I do.
Yeah.
So we celebrated my sister's 40th birthday this past weekend, and we're trying to gather some old photos of her to blow up for the party. So we wanted one of like her as a baby, one in middle school, high school, wedding picture, just to show. So clearly we're going through all these family photos. There's photos of me in there too. So I go upstairs. There's a lot of boxes. So I'm helping my mom. She's going through everything with my dad. So I'm at my parents' house. I go upstairs. I'm like doing something up there. And I hear my mom. God, it is crazy how homely Bridget was.
Homely?
My dad said, Kath, she wasn't homely. No, Daryl, she was homely. Look at this photo of her. Like, how did she end up like turning out to be what she is today? I mean, and she kept saying it, homely. So I finally come downstairs. I'm like, Mom. Okay, first of all, I hear you up there, and I don't think it's appropriate for you to be talking about your daughter, calling me homely. She goes, Bridget, look at you.
Oh, you weren't a part of this conversation.
No! She's like whispering to my dad, oh, God, look at Bridget. She was homely. And I'm like, Mom, that's not nice. She's like, well, you were.
I hate to call out your parents' age, but I just need to know what is like the minimum age you have to be to use the word homely? Like the word homely is literally only used by people like 90 and above.
I actually haven't heard that word very often in my life. All I know is it's like the lowest of ugly you can be.
It is like only used to describe a young Bridget Linton.
You asshole. And I'm like looking at the photo she's referring to, and I'm like, okay, Mom, am I that horrible? She's like, you look like you're photoshopped into our family. We're all like good looking and tan, and you're just like so pale and awkward. I'm like, okay, I actually did look like I was photoshopped into the picture. I'm not gonna lie. It is bad. And I said, well, thank goodness for my personality. It really won everyone over.
It really shined through. And you need that sometimes when you're not very cute.
So maybe that is what's going on with Pete Davidson and MGK and Travis Barker. I don't know.
I mean, it could be that. Or like it could be something else, which, is this like thing that people say about like skinny dudes and you know what it is?
No, I actually don't. But
yes, you do.
You always try to just put me on the spot.
Why don't you try in your mind just in this moment to like connect the dots?
I have connected the dots. But you like say things like, I actually don't know because I've never.
You've never been with a skinny guy because you only like guys with muscles. Is that true?
True, actually, yes. So I don't know, but I'm connecting the dots. What you're saying is,
what do you think?
Like tall, skinny, but big dick.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear it. There's something. Is this thing on? What'd you say?
Like a big penis?
Yeah.
What is the preferred word? Dick
I
or
would
penis?
say dick, like a big dick.
Big dick.
Oh yeah. Give it a little. Give it a little something behind it.
Tall, skinny dudes, big dick.
Oh wow, you went in.
Do you know that to be true?
I actually do. I do know that to be true.
So okay, so what was
not
the initial...
everyone for sure?
Okay, so what was like the initial attraction? Because you're not into skinny dudes either. So what did you think in your head? Oh, I've heard skinny dudes have big dicks, so let me see what this is all about.
I've actually only been with Sunny for my entire life. And so
one person only.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I've been with one person my whole life.
Basically
so
a virgin.
I actually don't know like firsthand. Like I just know like I really like how you're going along with this and you're like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Virgin Mary over here.
No, but that's what they say. That's what I've heard. And that's what I've seen in pictures. And actually, I'd really like to share something with you. I'm still waiting for the goods to come in through my phone. But there's this photo that's been circulating that I really couldn't wait to share with you right here on the podcast, because I thought it would be best for us to see your reaction to it together. And it has to do with Nick Cannon, who has recently been in the news, sadly, for, you know, this whole situation that's happened with his kids. And our thoughts and prayers definitely go out to him. But he is, I would say, well endowed.
Oh, I knew it. I knew when you said I had to show you something on the podcast, and she kept saying, I'm not telling you anything about it. I just want to save it for the podcast. I want to see your reaction. Why? The first thing that came to my mind was, she's going to show me a dick pic. I just know she is. Well, and I was right.
I really think that this actually just goes to our entire point that, like, skinny guys, Nick Cannon, very small person. I don't know. He may be like,
I don't know how tall he is.
I don't think he's like super tall. Skinny dude. And I mean, he is working with something. So we'll wait until this finally comes through. It's obviously been taken off the internet because I've been asking around for people.
Oh, I was going to say, did one of your friends hook up with Nick Cannon? Nick Cannon's only 6 foot. That is not tall.
That's not that tall. But it's actually really weird because this photo came into it was a text message from a girlfriend. She just sent it to me and didn't say anything. I was like, oh shit, I was actually at work dinner. So I just put it to the side and I responded later. But it's really weird. It's not showing up anymore in our messages. So I wonder if he got this like totally taken down.
I didn't know that was possible.
I didn't either. But it's kind of what I'm experiencing right now.
Maybe it's just saving me the...
We'll stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we go back to this Pete Davidson MGK thing? So, like, whatever. They're these, like, weird skinny white guys who, like, I don't know, they're talented. One's funny, one's, like, a singer or something. Rapper.
Yeah, singer, rapper. I'm not really sure about him. Pete Davidson, though, okay, so for me, another checklist item, if we're moving on to a personality, you got to be funny.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be, like, the only one, like, being loud and obnoxious and cracking jokes all the time. Like, you got to be able to keep up.
So what happens if somebody is, like, loud and obnoxious and cracking jokes more than you? Like, do they take the spotlight? Like, is that upsetting?
Well, if it's funny, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
But when they're just loud and obnoxious and it's not funny, I'm like, okay, can you just shut up for 1 second?
You know what I didn't think was funny? So these two guys that we're talking about recently came out with this like social media campaign for Calvin Klein.
Yeah.
And I know there's like a whole story to it, but basically they're in their like little like wife beaters and white underwear, which I don't know. I'm like a little uncomfortable about it. I don't really like it. Like if it was like Nick Cannon, all about it. But these two, not so much.
Okay, back up.
Feeding each other popcorn.
Okay, so why would you be into it with Nick Cannon?
Because then like there's something like that you know is like behind this whole thing. These two dudes, I'm not totally sure what they're working with, and it's like I have other shit I can do. I can be watching like Schitt's Creek.
Okay.
I'd rather be doing anything than like watching these two skinny white guys like feeding each other popcorn with their dicks out.
Well, okay. Well, I haven't seen the video, so I don't know if their like dicks are out. But I feel like the whole premise behind this was, okay, they're tall and skinny. They must be well endowed.
Well, there has to be something. I would say Pete Davidson, his is funny. He's funny. Like he might not have a big dick, but he's funny. That works for you.
Yeah, but he's like also not very attractive. Like that's only one box check for me with Pete Davidson. Two, funny and tall. Okay, maybe it would work.
Okay, let's keep going then, shall we? Maybe Pete Davidson's the one we've been looking for.
Oh, I don't know.
You're like, no, cut it off.
Yeah, I'm like, well, yeah.
He needs to be somewhat attractive, and Pete Davidson maybe not so much. Okay, so we've gotten through tall.
Yep.
Muscly. Yep. Nice teeth. Funny. Okay, so let's get back to the funny part. So, like, do you want a comedian? Do you just want somebody who's, like, dry funny? Like, you really like me, and I feel like I'm, like, dry funny.
That's true. I do really like you.
So it doesn't need to be, like, somebody telling jokes.
No, because what I found, I have gone out with a comedian before, and it's overwhelming a little bit when they just keep cracking jokes, and they are funny, but I'm like, I feel like I'm at a live comedy show.
Yeah. Are they ever cracking them at your expense?
No, yes, actually, most recently.
Oh.
Yeah.
What was the joke?
I was gonna
let me see if I laugh.
I was gonna save the first date story for like after I got through my whole checklist, but we'll just get into it now.
Let's just do it.
Okay, so I have a checklist, and this dude checked majority of them. So my expectations are at an all-time high. Going into this date, I'm like, oh my, this could be the one. He checks almost all of my boxes. Probably at this point, I didn't know. I had to figure out the other ones. I didn't know him that well. But as far as his career-wise, what he looks like, everything, boxes checked.
And let me just chime in and say, like, when you would get these text messages from this person, your like eyes would light up. And I haven't seen that for like a while. So you were actually really into this one.
Yes.
Yep.
Great on text, asked good questions, but not like over the top, asking too many questions so that when we go on this date, we wouldn't have anything to talk about. He just like played it perfectly. Didn't over text. I wasn't getting like the good morning text and the good nights and like hope you slept well. All like dumb shit. Like, hey, beautiful. Hope your day's going well.
Do you like those?
No, I hate them. That's what I'm saying. Like I didn't get, he like played it right.
Right.
So I'm like, man, this guy is just the best. So I'm going in with all these high expectations. Okay, meet up with them this past weekend. We go on a date. But one of my first initial reaction again, I'm like, God, he's just as good looking as I was hoping. That I've seen in photos. That I met him like one time, and I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. And then he kind of stole the show. Just wouldn't ever shut up, ever. And then he would ask like me one question, and I would answer, and then he would like one up me. Like for instance, okay, so tell me more about your work. Oh my gosh, ESPN Cleveland, that's amazing. Like, what's your end goal? Like, what's your dream job? Tell them about our podcast. We've done this, we've done that. I love it so much. Like the end goal, like I want to be like on the red carpet with Betsy. We're asking the fun questions. You can catch us on like E! News. You'll catch us at the NBA All-Star Game. Like I want all of that. And I want all of the fame that comes with it. And Betsy's going to be so happy because with fame comes fortune. Literally, I couldn't even get all of that out before like he interrupted and is like, oh my God, well, I've done this, this, and this. Oh, I've been on this red carpet. Oh my God, have you checked out how many followers I have? Oh my gosh, I could retire tomorrow. I've made so much money. And I'm like, okay, good for you. Like,
and did you like keep the conversation going, or were you like, you're actually so fucking annoying. Shut up for once.
No, I'm too nice. So of course I asked questions. Oh my God, and you did that? Amazing. Like, what was it like meeting Michael Jordan? Oh, he was the best, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was just one of those conversations that all of a sudden all became about him. And then I am funny. So, like, I would, like, bring him back down and just, like, try to be a little witty and be like, wow, you're just so cool. I cannot believe I'm so honored to be sitting next to you right now and doing it. And he's like, damn. I'm like, well, that was my hint. Like, shut up.
Well, he was also probably thinking, you're right. You are. You're really lucky to be here. I mean, he sounds like he's kind of that person.
Yeah. But then in like the next breath, he'd be like insecure. So he's asking me about my past dating life. Another red flag, first date. Why are you asking about my dating history and my exes? Like,
he wants to know if you're serious about this date.
I don't know. And so I'm telling him red flags. One red flag. If I'm sitting here asking you 5,000 questions and you leave this date knowing exactly what you knew about me before coming in, red flag. You didn't care to get to know me at all. And he's like, oh my God, I haven't asked you enough questions. Come to think of it, I feel like I'm in an interview. You're asking me all the questions. I'm like, okay, I actually wasn't meaning to put it on you, but now like you made it weird. And now I'm like, now he's asking me questions, but just to ask him. It was just like a mess. And it just goes to show you that even if you check all the boxes in real life, they could suck.
I know. I actually really thought this one was going to be like a good one because of all of those boxes that this person checked.
And he was trying to be funny. Like, I get it. A majority of his job of why he's successful is being funny. But I feel like he was just trying to be funny. I'm like fake laughing a lot.
See, this is when I feel like you need to be more direct with people and be like, I know you're like a comedian, but that like actually wasn't funny.
I know.
Like sometimes I feel like you need to tell these people because you're really doing them a disservice for like the next date that they go on because they're like stupid and boring and like only want to talk about themselves.
Yeah. I know I'm not good at it. I'm really not good at being direct, but also
if you could be direct, if that person is listening right now, and you could be really direct, what two pieces of advice would you give them?
It's good. I mean, that's like hard. I got to narrow it down.
And you could say something like, "Shut the fuck up," forever.
That like actually would be one. More so we're going back to the whole like joke thing when you said like at your expense. So he's 1 year younger than me, just one, but kept making jokes about like me being like older. I'm like, well, she's just so much older and like more mature, or like, well, we should get her Depends out. I mean, we're going, like saying
Depends. I mean, that's like a little dramatic.
Literally was saying things like that, and I'm like, okay. First of all, I'm actually not old. I'm young, and you're acting like you're 12. So maybe you should mature a little bit. And I don't know how to tell someone that. Like, yeah, you may be 29, but you are so immature.
Well, you just told
him.
Grow up. You just told him.
Just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean that you are mature. That is the main thing.
Yep. And if you want to talk to me about all the money you have, hand some over. And then I'll sit here and listen to your bullshit all day.
Yeah, I don't really care about that.
Okay, but for your friend, it has to hear about it on the side. It's time.
Flip you the money.
Yep.
Yeah, and other things like that, like almost like would bring me down. Okay, so wait, you work in radio. I mean, that's like a dying industry. Like, so why don't you don't have a face for radio? You have a face for TV. Why don't you go do that?
Oh, that's so sweet.
I know.
Never heard
I'm like
that before.
So that was like the one compliment you gave me all night. Like that's how you slid that one in. And again, he thought he was funny and witty with a cute, weird, cheesy pickup line. Heard it 7,000 times. Over it. Done.
Okay.
And also, radio is not a dying industry, asshole.
Motherfucker.
It's called audio.
Yeah.
You can stream. You can watch me on video.
Okay, so you told him everything, so I hope he's listening because I never want to hear about this.
I'm sure he's not.
Again, maybe for the rest of my life.
He's too into himself. He's not paying attention to anything I'm doing ever in my life.
I might slide into his DMs and like send him this podcast.
Send him the link, like
I
FYI.
think it would be helpful, truly. Would you want to know, like, okay, so maybe he has these critiques about you.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe he's on the other end of this date saying to people, like, yeah, like, you know, like, she checks all the boxes. She's tall. She's pretty. She's really skinny.
Oh,
I know.
thanks.
I know you'd like that one. Tall, pretty, skinny, funny, successful, all these things. But there was just something about her that I hated.
Yeah, I wonder what it was.
Well, I wonder what it was too, but like how, like, what would you think? Would you be like, well, thank you for being adult and say he like told you this, like, would you be like, okay, great? Or would you like try to like compete with him because like you're very competitive? Would you be like, well, I can get back in. I'm sure you would like me if I like change this.
Well, I can't think of what he would actually say he didn't like, honestly. Right. Unless it was like, yeah, she thought she was like being too bold by trying to put me in my place. I'm like, well, no, it was just because that was me trying to shut you up.
Yeah.
So he could say that, like I was a bitch, maybe.
Yeah. God. Would you be shocked if he said that?
Well, yeah, because no one's ever really called me that. But like probably by the end of it, I was kind of being one because I'm like, okay,
like you're boring and I hate you.
I like can't like deal with all of the success talk anymore.
Yeah.
And honestly, it makes me think you're not that successful. The fact that you keep having to tell me how successful you are and how much money you have tells me you're probably not.
I have been around a lot of like super wealthy people in my life, and the really wealthy people don't talk about being really wealthy. Yes. And so there's like, oh, I got this like Instagram money. And then there's like being really wealthy. And like, I'm not talking to you about your Instagram money.
And also the tallness. Again, people have told me I'm like good breeding material, which you think is the weirdest compliment in the world, which I'm so used to it. I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. I'm tall. You want to make an athlete? You look at me as like a fucking breeder.
Like horrifying. It's like weird. It's just so weird.
It is. So he kept also making comments about the height. I don't remember you being this tall. We met one time. I don't remember you being this tall. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm tall. He's like, geez. And he's like, well, I guess I better get on my stilettos before we go on this date. So he made the stilettos joke.
Like not funny. Like, and then, I'm like not laughing.
And the depends joke. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was fake laughing a lot. I'm like, for someone that makes all his money on being funny, I'm not laughing. I'm doing a lot of fake laughing. And also, like me being tall is like a big attribute to me, I think.
Oh, he didn't tell you you're breeding material.
No, he was like, I didn't realize he was saying it like, geez, I didn't realize how tall you were.
So he thought you were a bitch and you were too tall.
Maybe
I think we just like figured it out. Which is truly best. It sets you up for a date with somebody else. So let's continue down the checklist. So what else do you need from this person?
I mean, I feel like having a job is important.
Just like any job.
Well, just like some kind of income.
Like McDonald's associate manager income.
I mean, probably not.
It's okay. It's okay. You can be honest. So like
I do okay for myself, but I would like someone to have, I don't want to say like a job at my level or a job like above me or a job below me. I don't want to like say anything like that, but you have to be able to have like a conversation with me about it.
Yeah, well, I work at McDonald's. I can talk to you a lot about the fries. Like, you're still not interested. Like, I have a career. I've made a career here at McDonald's, and I have a lot to tell you about it.
Okay, maybe you have to be a little more successful than McDonald's.
Okay, great. So we're getting somewhere. Yeah. Okay, so could this person doesn't need to be in the industry. This person could be a doctor.
Oh, great, yeah.
Oh, you're into that. Yeah, great. Perfect. Your parents would really be into that too, I think.
I mean, they might work like weird hours, but I also work weird hours, so that would work.
And ultimately, you don't want to see the person all the time anyway.
That is like another thing when it comes to what were you just talking about? I just got distracted. Sorry, I saw an email come in. I got distracted.
Wow. We were talking about the
the
doctor.
schedules. No, I actually like it when they're busy too, because when someone becomes too obsessed and like wants to hang out 24/7, I like can't do it, because I've gone on dates like that. I think the date went well, but then they're like, okay, so now what are you doing tonight? What are you doing tomorrow for lunch? I'm like, well, I'm busy. I like have a life. God, you're leaving again this weekend. I'm like, all right, I'm
too
suffocating.
clingy.
I'm suffocating.
You suffocate a lot with dudes who just like text you like twice in one day. I feel like that's suffocation as far as you're concerned. A lot of
I know.
times.
Okay, so actually before that date, so he's texting me what time we're gonna go, and I'm like, it's in the morning. I'm like, would you relax? We'll go somewhere like later. So I didn't reply right away, and then he started calling, and I'm like, okay, you can't be calling me. And I was with my sister, and she was like, okay, do not just like not go on this date because you're annoyed that he called you. I'm like, well, he texted me twice in a row and then called. That's a little bit too much for me.
Desperate. Was it too desperate for you? Is that what you didn't like, or was it just like annoying? I'm trying to like do other things and like I'll get to you when I get to you.
Second one.
Okay, so I want to like go off of this, but I don't want to totally put your business out, but I just think it's interesting and funny. So so you had a lot to drink. And so you stayed the night. Nothing happened. I want to preface this by saying literally nothing happened. And everyone knows how prude Bridget is. Everyone knows that that's true. So the next day I'm texting you. I'm like, well, what the fuck's going on? Like, text me back. And Bridget tends to sleep in late. And I think it's the most bizarre thing in the world, just sleeping in late in general, but like especially sleeping over somebody's home. Like, that's weird to me. And like you texted me at like noon and you were like, okay, well, I'm on the way home. And I'm like, huh? The fuck were you going home at noon for, psycho? I'm thinking like, I mean, I don't know. Like, again, I'd never have done that before. But like, if I did, I'd be out of there at 6 a.m.
You know, I actually forgot a big part of this date that I not tell you about.
Oh.
Yeah. And I didn't think I was gonna like go here, but here we are.
Oh,
we're
shit.
This
is the goods.
So we go on the date. We drink a lot. Honestly, okay, going back to my tolerance, I have a high tolerance.
Yes.
So we're both drinking the same amount, like very normal. We're at dinner. He has a drink. I have a drink. Okay, let's order another round. He's like getting drunk really quick. And the more he drinks, the more he's talking about himself. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting annoyed because you're at another level drunk than I am. So I felt like I needed to drink more. So I'm like, maybe I won't be as annoyed if I'm drinking just as much. So I started ordering doubles, okay? So I'm like, well, just to keep up with him, you know?
Were you drinking martinis?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
Just normal vodka sodas.
Okay.
But he was getting very drunk off those. So I'm like, maybe you should double mine up just to get on the same level. So then I feel like we are. But then at this point, mind you, we had like drove separately. And I'm like, I can't drive at this point. And either could he. So we're like, okay, we'll just Uber. We'll go back. He lives in a very nice home. So we go back there.
Because he's very successful, of course.
Of course. So he's telling me about all this. So then he's like, okay, well, I have like all these like spare bedrooms. You can come sleep in my room. Oh my God, I'm getting uncomfortable talking about it.
I know. Oh God. I'm very comfortable. Rob, are you comfortable? Yeah, we're comfortable. We're good. Yeah.
No, but it made me uncomfortable what comes out of his mouth next. So
shoot.
he says, well, why don't you just stay in my room? And I was like, yeah, no, like it's our first date. Like I don't even want to like entertain that idea. And he's like, no, I'm not expecting anything. And I'm like, okay, well then I can like have my own bed. He's like, well, no, I'm telling you, I'm not expecting anything. Then I'm a little confused. I'm drunken brain. I'm like, what do you mean you're not expecting anything? He's like, I just want to pleasure you.
Oh.
So I'm like, huh? Okay. And I'm like, no, again.
You're so awkward.
I know. I'm sweating. I'm
fucking
sweating.
awkward.
And
I don't
like,
even know what to do.
And I was like, no, it's okay.
That's a nice offer, but no, thank you.
Maybe he has listened to the podcast because he was like,
he wants to eat your asshole.
No.
Everyone knows how much she likes that.
No. He was just like, it just doesn't seem like you like do this a lot. You don't like hook up with a lot of people. He's like, I just don't think people have done it right. And that's the reason why you have not hooked up with a lot of people, because you don't know how great it can be. He's like, and not to sound cocky, but I know I'm going to be that guy. And I'm like, well, that actually did sound really cocky. And this could not be a bigger turnoff ever in my whole life.
But also, you should have told him, it's so funny you say that, because the last 5 guys that have tried to take me out who have said the same goddamn shit, and you're boring. Like, and guess not amused. Not amused.
Yeah, but he did. And then he kept, like, going with it. And he's like, I'm telling you, it's going to be, like, the best night of your life. I really feel like you should let me do this. I'm not expecting anything. You don't even have to touch me.
Ew.
All this. And I'm like, literally, now I want to go throw up. Like, bye. Good night.
Sure.
Good night.
Ew. It's actually so gross and so annoying.
The more I talk about him, God, he is
I hate
kind
him.
of the worst.
I actually hate him.
Yeah.
Actually, the more we talk about that, you've never told me that story, and now I'm just like, you're like what? Like,
I just want to like tap him on the shoulder and be like, I know that you like think you are the shit. You're not. Like there's like nothing really about you.
What is he like working with over there? Like he dates like young ladies, like really young ladies. Like they don't fucking know what's going on. They were like, oh, you're really good at that. Good one.
Well, I was trying to like give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, well, maybe he was nervous. Maybe he was maybe he was intimidated. Is like from again another red flag. Told me way too much about his past relationships. I'm like, cool, don't care about your ex-girlfriends. But if you want to sit here and like chat about them all day and like why they were the worst, fantastic. Like, and he even said, he's like, I could never like bring my ex around. Like if I'm at like a business meeting, like you could just handle yourself. Well, that's what I do for a living. Yes, I know I could. And it was almost like he didn't know how to handle it because he's so used to immaturity. Yeah. So then he became immature himself. It's almost like he became the exes maybe. I don't know.
He gotta go.
So I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but oh man, I'm like, well, another one bites the dust.
All right. What other boxes did he he did bite the dust too. I hate him. What other boxes does this person need to check?
Well, he actually checked all of them.
Kids?
I mean, yeah, I prefer you not to have kids.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I want to be a stepmom.
Yeah, and it's like immediate stepmom too, which I think is kind of like a lot for somebody like us.
Yeah.
Like if we wanted kids, we probably would have had our own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, like if they check every other box and they're so amazing and are not a dickhead.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I would accept maybe if you have like a kid or two. I'm good with kids. I can warm up to it, but preferably.
Yeah. Okay. So what about the idea of like, one time when I was 21, I went to a store and I forgot my wallet and I stole something and now I have a criminal record. Like, is that something you'd be okay with? Like if somebody has like a criminal record for some bullshit like that?
Well, if it's some bullshit, I could get past it. If he has like murder on his criminal record, I don't think it's going to work out.
Well, he wouldn't work out because he'd be incarcerated.
That's true.
If he murdered somebody. But if it's just like a casual crime, like a white collar crime, like embezzlement, like they're just like hoarding money. Like, would you be okay with that?
No, I would not be okay with that.
Oh, you wouldn't?
No.
So like if a dude tells you like, okay, so say he doesn't even actually tell you. Say like he's checking all the boxes. He's all these things. He's tall, muscly, good teeth, funny, childless, all these things. And then you do research on your own and find out that he has been arrested. Do you let it go? Do you ask about it on the first date? Like, what happens?
I know. See, this is the other issue because I need to stop doing so much research before I go on these dates. Well, I do that for my own safety and just to see what these people are all about. But then, when like this dude, he's telling me about all of his exes. I'm like, I know. I already know her aunt too. Like, I know everybody. I know exactly what trip you went on. Yep. Everything. I know everything because I've done my research.
Yeah.
So that would be tough for me to even go on a date if I already knew the criminal record. But if it was like... If it was something like, all right, you got a DUI when you were 21 years old, I'll bring it up, but I would get past it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I think DUI is like kind of, I don't know. Like I kind of feel the same way. So I'm asking this specific question because I have a really good story to tell you. Okay. So I was recently on Facebook, which like our parents are on. Most people like aren't typically using Facebook. And I get this message from this guy that I went to college with. Haven't heard from him, seen him, like nothing in a long time. Morning, Betsy. Hi. Like, I don't want to chat. I don't want to chat on Facebook.
I'm surprised you even replied.
I replied because I knew him. What are you up to these days? And I'm thinking, what do you mean, what am I up to these days? Like, I'm all over the place on social media. You've seen what I'm up to.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? I said, just live and work in Cleveland. No, what are you doing? His response. I don't want to reveal too much. I'm in Cleveland right now trying to get my mind right after the hell of 7 years in maximum security federal prison. That shit will fuck up the most hardened criminals. It's all good though. I'm a strong motherfucker. Just wanted to check up. It's crazy we've known each other for 15 years. We got to grab lunch sometime.
But Betsy, you that is not a real life message.
Oh, he's active right now on Facebook. Sure is.
Oh.
Like, hey, funny. Just got out of maximum security prison.
Shit will fuck you up, but life is all good besides
Life's all
that.
good. Getting shit together. Want to go to lunch?
Wow.
No, I don't.
Talk about being direct. He just came right out and let you know.
Well, he's been in jail forever. He doesn't know how to act.
So what'd you say? You going on that lunch?
Nothing. I didn't know. I didn't say anything.
Okay, is this someone that shocked you, or were you like, oh, I could see that? He was kind of
I can totally
a wild
see
man.
It was, and then I like did more research because I thought it was so interesting. First of all, I didn't realize he was gone. Never realized he was away for 7 years. Never even crossed my mind.
So what was the crime?
So like drug trafficking, like crazy drug trafficking. So like drug trafficking, like, yeah, it's like a big deal, but like, I don't know, like, you care about that?
Well, yes, I care about that. If
So I shouldn't set you up. He's actually pretty tall.
No, thank you.
And he
No,
got
thank you.
real buff in prison.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
no, thank you.
Okay.
But I mean, they probably could like fight anyone if you ever needed someone.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think he's a good person to have on our side. Maybe we'll get him on. I would love to hear about his time in the penitentiary.
That's actually a great idea.
I think so too.
As long as like he's not scary and like gonna kill us.
He was drug trafficking. He didn't murder somebody.
That's how it usually starts.
I know. I
Drug
also wonder,
trafficking
like,
leads to murder.
that like actually is probably true in your mind. Like you actually probably believe that.
Well, yeah, because if you're drug trafficking and then you've seen the movies and then you get caught in a bad drug deal and that's the next.
Oh yeah, it's typically how it goes. I
That's the
think.
next. You've never seen Save the Last Dance? Come on.
Real life shit. That's real life shit. I can't wait to ask him about Save the Last Dance when we have him on our podcast. I actually think that's a nice time to wrap it. Actually, you know, I have one more thing I wanted to share with you.
Did you get the photo?
Before we go. And
She's trying to show me the photo. Oh, Betsy, no. Yeah, Betsy, stop.
told you about them skinny guys. Okay.
She wouldn't stop showing. Oh my God, it was like.
Oh my God, are you okay?
No, it was like an elephant trunk. just there.
Okay, let's wrap this up.
I can't believe I don't even know what podcast is called anymore. I've got to go.
All right, well, we'll be back soon enough. Stay tuned. Make sure you continue to follow us on all of our social platforms and on our YouTube channel. Stay tuned for a lot more where that came from. Cheers.
Bye.